Well, hey there. Good morning, Lego fans. Happy Wednesday to you. It is Wednesday, so you know what that means? It means it's another Wild Card Wednesday, and I am switching things up a little bit. It's not going to be different if you're listening to the podcast, okay? That's going to be normal, just like always, but I am, for this Wild Card Wednesday, going to be talking Lego ideas, and so I'm switching up my location. So if you are a visual person, it's definitely a different looking video for you today. So before we get into that, I do always just want to say thank you so much for listening in, no matter where you're listening in from, all over the world. I really appreciate it. Or maybe you are that visual person and you like checking it out on the YouTube page. Again, no matter how you watch, no matter how you are getting your content, it means the world to me. I appreciate it so much. So what do you say? Let's get into it. Like I said, today is all about Lego ideas, and not just the theme, right? It's really, we are going to be talking about the 57 specific projects that have been qualified for the first review period for here in 2025. And here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go through all 57 of these sets, right? And I'm going to give you a little description, talk about each one, and basically give you my thoughts on if it has zero chance, if it's got a little chance, if it's got some chance, or if it's got a big chance. So I have 4 basic categories that are obviously 100% subjective. But to help me out, and the reason why I have changed things up today while I'm in my office in front of my computer, is I'm just screen sharing this actual blog post from Lego Ideas. And so that way, if you are a visual person, it will help you go through the visuals of each individual set as I cover them. So again, this initial post, which really, let's be honest, I should have covered this probably last week, came out May 6th, 2025, of the 57 sets that have qualified. And so, like I say, we are going to get into it. If you don't know much about Lego Ideas, which I would imagine if you are, nerdy enough to be listening to a Lego podcast, you probably have a basic idea of what Lego Ideas has to offer. But as soon as someone hits 10,000 votes, gets approved through voters like you and me, it gets sent off to Lego for a review submission. And they have a time period for which these 10,000 votes can occur, right? And if it happens within that calendar year, it goes up for that review. And like I said, 57 actually qualified here in the first part of 2025. Now, these actually aren't going to be revealed. And let's be real, when we look at these 57 sets, we're talking 1, maybe 2 of these sets have an actual shot at being the next Lego Idea set. Some will go into limbo if you don't pay attention to Lego Ideas. There are actually 54 sets that are still out there from the last review period that are just in limbo. We don't know. Are they going to become an official set? Who knows? Only Lego does. So with that, we're going to go through and we're going to take a look at each one part by part. And I will give you one other caveat before we get going here. And that is, this is not what I want necessarily. This is what I think is going to happen. And so let's go to the first set, which is the Taylor Swift Lover House. We got a lot of Swifties out there. It's a huge dollhouse style house. It resembles, I believe, a house from one of her videos. I know there are 10,000 Swifties out there that would definitely love for this set to become an official set. Verbal Melon, you did a good job recreating what this house should look like. But it's not that I love it or hate it. What I'm going to tell you is this set, for example, has 0 chance of becoming a Lego Ideas set. Yes, Steve, we had BTS, right? BTS did not sell at all. I mean, arguably, Taylor Swift is probably the only person out there right now more popular than BTS, but it just didn't sell. And, Lego Ideas doesn't usually strike that iron twice very often, and so I don't think the Taylor Swift Lover House is going to be the one that does it. I think this has absolutely zero chance at becoming a Lego Ideas set. But moving on. And I am literally just going to go right in order of what I'm looking at. And here we've got the Medieval Knight by Truman Bricks. Guys, the Medieval Knight is really cool. It is basically a knight on his gilded horse, his armored horse, and it is set up like you would see a knight on his horse in a museum, right? It's got the pearl gold, it's got the chrome silver on it, it's on its own little stand. It is just a really, really cool looking set. I will tell you personally, this is a good example of a set I would love to see as a Lego Ideas set. I just think it would be really neat. It's unique, it's got a good color scheme, and you just don't see things like this. And let's be real, medieval sets have been really popular on the Bricklink Designer series, so I think it had actually a good chance. But this is an example of no matter how much I love it, I think it's got about a medium chance. So not a huge chance. I'm going to put this at medium, okay? So again, I have zero likelihood, slightly likelihood, medium, and highly likelihood. This Medieval Knight gets medium. Pushing on to the jukebox with a Bluetooth speaker by Brickmaster84. Okay, now I got to tell you again, this jukebox looks good. It's got a lot of the trans clear pieces. It is actually a working jukebox, and that is really cool. But the same thing that makes it really cool is the same thing that's going to make it where I say, I think it's got zero chance. And let me tell you why. It's going to be too expensive to produce. They would have to really readjust this because you've got motors in this guy. Like if we can actually click on it and look at this Lego Ideas project and you actually look inside, and I want to kind of bring it over and show you. I don't want to make too much noise while we do it. It's hard to look inside. When you actually look inside of this jukebox with the Bluetooth speaker, it actually, I believe, requires electronics. And usually when something requires electronics, it is much harder for it to become a Lego set, for sure. So, oh well. Moving on from there, though, we have Love Enlighten Me, The Bench of the Lampposts in Love by Leodari. Can I tell you, if there are 57 sets for consideration, this one is towards the absolute top for me. And let me tell you why. It is absolutely beautiful. It's based on an art piece, and I don't know where the art piece is, but it's a bench, and the bench has the graffiti on it that says, Love Enlighten Me. And it's two telephone poles that are enrobed with each other, and they're bent, and they're just, it looks like they just love each other so much, and it's really gorgeous. I will tell you, I'm going to say this has medium likelihood. I want it to have high likelihood really, really badly. But I do think it conflicts with Lego's art series for sure. And without a base, they're going to have to reconfigure the bottom where the actual lamps are and to where the actual bench is itself. So let's just take a quick look at you can see if you are looking at the YouTube page, you can see there's no base to this set. And if you've got two big lights, big lamp posts that are sitting there on a bench and everything is moving, I think you need a way to anchor those. Plus, I mean, I don't know. Are they going to put a light brick in with these? A light brick, I think, would be a great feature. And so I give it medium likelihood. I want this set to go, though, for sure. Love Enlighten Me, definitely want it to be a Lego Ideas set. It's also, I love it because it would be a set that, you know, at I don't know how many pieces it has in it, but it's only probably like 500, 600 pieces. And so it would be a cheap set, you know, 50, 60 bucks, and you could actually have a really nice Lego set, as we've proven with Luxo Jr. that just is coming out here on June 1st. So, Twice Fancy by Space Pepsi 6709 is the next set. I gotta be honest with you, I don't know what this is. I don't know what I am looking at. I think it's another band set.
And just like BTS, Twice Fancy is not going to have any shot at becoming a LEGO Ideas set. So I'm sorry, Space Pepsi. It's interesting, but it's definitely super niche, way more niche than Taylor Swift. And I don't think any band sets are going to be making it. So there you go. Moving on from there, though, we've got Portal 2, the core replacement station by Old School Boy. If you don't know, Portal is a PlayStation / Xbox game. I don't remember which. I never played Portal personally, but it is a super popular video game. Very fun from what I understand, and people really do love it. And I got to say, the Portal 2 core replacement station, it is a really cool looking set. You've got the actual core getting installed into what looks like a mainframe with the plants all over it. And so the set itself looks really good. I'll tell you though, I'm going to say this only has slight likelihood of becoming a LEGO Ideas set, only because I've seen other Portal sets get 10,000 votes and they don't ever get picked. We have yet to have a Portal set. Even though gaming is getting bigger and bigger, I don't know if this is the breakout Portal set to become the next LEGO Ideas set. So, love the game idea. I do think there's potential there, but I don't think it's going to happen on this one. All right, next up, we've got the Nolinor Boeing 737-200 by Design and Crate. This is a great looking plane. I love the Boeing 737. I have the 787 Dreamliner. Absolutely love it. Will this become a LEGO Ideas set? Absolutely not. Zero chance. And let me tell you why. We just got a 747. We literally just got a 747 with a space shuttle on top of it. There is no way they are going to have two competing airliner sets out at the same time. It's not going to happen. So Design and Create, you made a really cool looking set that is never going to see the light of day in LEGO Ideas. I'm sorry, that's just the reality. All right, moving on from there, we've got the next one up. Okay, here's your first big heavy hitter, and that is E.T. the Extraterrestrial by Lafa Brick. We have a gremlin coming out. Like 80s nostalgia is big, and I have put out podcasts before talking about the Lego, their new, how do I put this? Their intended audience, I've talked about this a lot, is really the adult audience, the 18 plus audience, the Gen Xers and the millennials. And I can tell you, for as much fun as Gremlins is, E.T. was such a bigger hit. Like, did you know E.T., I want to say, went like 16 weeks at #1 in the box office? Like, we're talking the only other movies to do that is a movie like Titanic. And so for E.T., it's just so iconic. Now, I will say, as far as the set goes itself, I love that he is holding his yellow plant. Just like in the planter, he has the dead plants and he touches it and the plants come to life. And so I think it's captured really well. It is kind of weird, let's be real, E.T. in his full, like the giant actual creature that is E.T. is a little unsettling to me, honestly. I would have rather have seen him in the bike with a little blanket over him, but that's just me. However, even though this isn't my favorite set I've seen so far, I definitely think this is a high likelihood and so far the best odds of becoming the next LEGO Ideas set. So, moving on to there, Heartstopper, Be Yourself by Feast Bricks. Okay, so Heartstopper's interesting. Heartstopper, if you don't know, it is a, I believe it was like a manga or an animated comic that they had put out basically, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. My daughter loves Heartstopper. You know, when a new Heartstopper book comes out, she is all over it. I think they may even made a show off of it or something. I'm not sure. Here's what I do know, though. Since Everything is Awesome and the Fab Five, the Queer Eye for the Straight Guys sets, we don't see a lot of LGBTQ, and I don't know if this is going to be the one that pushes that boundary, right? Fab 5 did not sell well. People bought it because it was a good set where they could brick out parts for, but as far as the set itself, people weren't really into it. So I feel like Heartstopper, although cool, and my daughter would just go crazy for this set, and it is a nice looking set. It's the whole bedroom scene. It's got the drums, his little desk where he's writing stuff at. He's got his little bed, and there's both the characters, the main characters from Heartstopper. So it's a really nice looking set, but it's not something that I think has a chance. I'll give it slight, only barely above 0 for that. Okay, moving on from there. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Banks Mansion by Isilio. Again, 80s and 90s nostalgia. It's what sells. I can sing you, if you'd like, the entire Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song if you want, as well as every Gen Xer, maybe not Gen Xer, but every millennial could also sing you, because this is the show we watched. And as the intended audience, I think this has a really high likelihood. We've already got Friends, we have Seinfeld, we have Big Bang Theory, and we've had The Office as Lego Ideas sets. And so I feel like this is a natural extension of that. I will say the one thing holding it back is the set design itself. When you look at it, it's not only it's the front door, the iconic front door with the pillars around it where you start off the themes, end off the theme song, but it's also got the full living room layout as well as the whole kitchen area. And these are definitely both really, really great scenes. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the kitchen as well as a lot of stuff that happened in the living room, but it just seems too big, honestly, to be a Lego Ideas set. So I think if they did this, they might pare it down, but that's the problem. I think if you pare down a set like this, you kind of lose some of its flash and its feel. So I don't know. And are people Will Smith fans nowadays? Do we like Will Smith? It's been some issues lately. So with that, I'm going to give it a medium, given its things that it's holding its back. But yeah, very easily could move to high with just a couple small changes. Moving on from there, we have the Lego DNA 2.0, the Double Helix History by DNA Double Helix. Can I tell you again, this is an example of a set I absolutely love. You have a huge DNA strand, right? You have the full double helix. It looks like it even has, the little I don't know, they're not molecules, but the A, T, C, G, or whatever those are, in each of the strands that connect the double helix together. Can you tell I'm not a scientist? But here's my problem. Lego just put out an idea set that is a STEM set, like the Discovery STEM set, right? And it has a full double helix already. So because of that, this set has absolutely zero chance of becoming another ideas set, no matter how cool it is. And I will tell you, it looks extremely accurate, but I don't know if Lego really cares about that. They want it to look good. That is their first priority, because looking good translates into more sales rather than looking accurate. Unless, of course, you're Star Wars, then people just want to complain. Okay, moving on from there, we've got La Catrina by Yop 1172. Oh, I really like this set. This is another one where I would say medium to high likelihood. I'm going to put it at medium, I think, just barely edging it out, only because it is the La Catrina is that well-known, the female skeletal figure for, I don't know the origins to which holidays it celebrates. Is that a Dia de los Muertos thing? I'm not sure, but I will tell you, we already have a BrickHeads in this, and because we have the BrickHeads, if the BrickHeads sold well, I think this has a high likelihood. If the BrickHead did not sell well, I would definitely take this down to medium or slight. But here's the deal. We don't have that information. Lego has that information. So they're the only ones who really know if this has a chance or not. And I think a lot of it is going to be based on how well that Brickhead set did. As a set itself, though, absolutely gorgeous. It's got the orange. It almost looks like piece separators. But it's got this beautiful orange dress intermixed with the black and the little polka dots on there. And then at the top part is she's got her corset, and above the corset is her skeletal arms, her rib cage, and her skull, and topped with the hat. So as far as design goes, this is absolutely a fabulous set. All right, the Mushrooms Collection by Ketchup. I see what you did there, Ketchup. Well played. K-E-C-Z-U-P. Ketchup. All right, the Mushrooms Collections. This has zero chance of becoming a Lego set. Do you want me to justify it? Let me tell you why. We have Lego Bricklinks that is already doing a lot of designer sets that are mushroom-based sets, and they're cute. This is accurate. Again, I've said it before. Lego doesn't care about accurate. They want cute. And the mushrooms on the left that are brown, they look like chanterelles maybe. They're not cute. They're accurate. And I applaud you, Ketchup, on making it accurate. But because it's an accurate science display, I don't think it really has a chance. Sorry, buddy. All right, Smurf Village by Half-Blood Baron. Can I tell you? I don't know. I really want this to become a set. I think Smurfs, again, are another very iconic 80s set. The problem is I don't know who produces Smurfs. If Hasbro produces Smurfs, I don't think they do, because I think the Smurfs are actually put out by a Swedish company. I don't know. Here's my issue. It's all about the IP, right? Whenever you get into a really cute set like the Smurf Village, it is cute. It's definitely, you've got all the red, the pink, the blue, the orange houses with the big, huge, mushroom capped houses and the little cattails in the back where the Smurfs are fishing. It's super cute. I love it. It just kind of depends on, does Lego want to get into that IP game? And it depends who currently owns Smurfs, because there are friendly to Lego and not so friendly to Lego, because they're doing their own thing. So I will have to give this a medium, just based on the fact that it's got a lot of potential, but I think there are definitely some IP issues there. All right, moving on from there, we got something in Japanese, I assume, ramen by McDud. Okay, if you're not watching and you're listening in, I am looking at a very authentic bowl of ramen, from the soft-boiled egg to the char-siu to the nori to some mushroom caps sitting in the back, complete with sitting on a traditional mat with chopsticks. It is a glorious representation of a bowl of ramen that has zero chance of becoming a Lego set. I just don't. People aren't going to buy it. It's too niche. The Asia market is getting bigger for sure, but that doesn't necessarily just mean the Japanese market. And this is very niche to that market. Plus, the noodles in this bowl of ramen are a bunch of Lego hands that are all intertwined with each other. They are not going to make a set that has, looks like 200-300 Lego hands intertwined with each other. It's just not going to happen. So I'm sorry, ramen. It is a very accurate representation. It is not something that's going to be selected. All right, moving on. We got the Ancient Roman Temple by Earl Magica Leal. This is a great example of a really cool set. I can see why it got the 10,000 votes for sure. It's also 2,700 pieces. And at 2,700 pieces, I don't think people are going to buy a set like this. I just don't think it is going to happen. And it's an obscure ancient Roman temple. Like, are we picking Neptune? Are we picking Jupiter? Like, who is the god that we are actually worshiping in this temple? Very colorful, very solid looking build, but unlike, say, the Parthenon, which could, have its way with like Lego architecture, this fits some weird category in between that I just don't think will sell well, so I think has a slight to zero chance of becoming an idea set. All right, moving on. The Ascensor da Bica by Peter Designs. Basically what this is it looks like a trolley car on an incline, it's almost like a mix between a trolley car that you see in San Francisco and a funicular, which a funicular is a transport that goes up mountainsides, right? And so this is an inclined transport with some villas behind it. Beautiful little orange and blue villas that have their balconies. And I think this is a really nice set. I think it's got zero chance of becoming a Lego set, though. It's just, again, too niche. I just don't think... How about this? I will say this. If the new Lego restaurant facades do well, like currently we have the French bistro facade that is out on the market, if that facade sells really well, right, and if the others sell really well, I think a set like this could get picked. I just don't think it will, though. I don't think it's going to happen. So, moving on from there, we have the RNLI Shannon Class Lifeboat by the Cranky Buffalo. Cranky Buffalo, you're going to stay cranky with me, buddy, because this is not going to get picked. It has zero chance. If you want to say that the whole funicular is niche, this is a Lego Technic set, but not a Lego Technic set. And that's never a good thing when you represent a Lego theme that already exists. I'm not saying people wouldn't buy a really cool Shannon Class Lifeboat. I am saying that as far as the design aspect goes, it's too close to what we already have, and I don't think Lego would go for that. All right, moving on. The Roman Thermae, a Roman bath by Jungle Scream. Well, now this is an interesting set because it is cool, but it also still, it suffers from the same thing the Roman temple suffers from. The architecture on it, while cool, it's way too big. It's got, I don't even know how many pieces, but it's got to have at least 3,000 to 4,000 pieces on it. And it's a Roman bathhouse. Lego does not do anything that could be considered controversial. They just don't. That's kind of one of their things they're known for, is they try to stay away from any set that could be a controversial set. We actually got Notre Dame. I can't remember the last church we've gotten from Lego. They don't do anything depicting war or violence unless it's like fantasy violence. So you can get like a Star Wars blaster or a lightsaber, but you're not going to get an AK-47, and they're definitely not going to get anything that would require nudity. And I think a Roman bath requires nudity. So that is zero pick. Okay, an Apple Store by Truman Bricks. This is one of those things that gets picked. This is one of those sets that gets voted on by 10,000 Apple users because they're like, yeah, this is really cool. But will never in a million years become a Lego set. Lego is not going to promote Apple unless they have a partnership with Apple, and Apple is paying them to produce an Apple Store set. Now, if that happens, you'll know about that partnership. But in the meantime, there is no way on God's green earth that we are going to have a user-generated Apple Store set that is going to get supported by Lego. It just won't happen. Less than a 0% chance. And speaking of a less than a 0% chance, we have the Ohio State University Marching Band by An Interesting Penguin. Can I tell you if there was a set that had a less chance than the Apple Store? It is the Ohio State University Marching Band. Is there anybody outside of, Akron, that is going to buy this set? Even if it's cool, even if it's a generic marching band person, they had to make it Ohio State. This is 10,000 votes from 10,000 Ohio State band kids. and it's never going to happen. So moving on from there. Periodic Table of Elements by Drachenstein. I love that name, Drachenstein. Can I tell you the Periodic Table of Elements? This is a really cool set. This is a set that I personally love because I love the idea of the periodic table and I love it being done in Lego. But can I tell you, I don't think people want to build this. You know, part of the thing of a Lego set is the build itself, right? And there is Lego art where we get a lot of monotonous stuff in our builds, but this is taking monotony to a whole new level. And I think although it would display really, really well, I don't think people want to build a periodic table of elements. I just don't. So I'm going to give this 0 as well. All right, moving on to an interesting one. Ooh, Bob Ross, The Joy of Building by Econobricks. Listen, I am a Happy Trees addict. There was nothing better that I loved than getting off of work in college. I worked at a country club mowing the grass. It was not glamorous. And in fact, we were the people there at 4 a.m. mowing the grass. And then you got out of there by 7 or 8 and you went home. And I would fall asleep to watching Bob Ross paint pictures every Saturday and Sunday morning for those 2 or 3 summers. And it was lovely. And I do love Bob Ross. I think he's an amazing person. I'm going to give this a slight, only because my heart can't bear to give Bob Ross a no. Because can I tell you, there's too many weird IP things with him. If you don't know, most Bob Ross paintings are in a warehouse owned by his family, and they don't really sell off his paintings. And so a likelihood of them finding some IP partnership that works, I just don't think is really high. I think there's a whole quirkiness that goes on with the Bob Ross family, but it's too bad because it's really cool. And I really like the set itself. You got the mountain, you got some happy trees, you got some happy bushes all set in front of a lake, and you got those beautiful clouds. And I don't see any unhappy things. I just see happy accidents everywhere. Plus, you get a Bob Ross minifigure, and that is really cool. So I want this set to get picked. I just don't know if it will. All right, moving on from there. Civil engineering, type of bridges. Hey, are you an architect fan? Well, we've got bridges for you, friend. Can I tell you? I love this set. Like if Lego Architecture did a bridges around the world set and did it with landscapes behind it, I think it could be mildly successful. Or you have like the Big Dig Bridge or the bridges in, there's the Hybe Suspension Bridge, which is in West Virginia. But as far as a Lego Ideas set, Mockingbird, I just don't think people are going to want to buy it. I think it's way too niche, way too technical, and it just doesn't look super fun unless you're a giant nerd like me. Okay, here we are. Let's talk the Goliath in the room, and it happens to be 4 old women. Yes, I'm talking about the Golden Girls set by Martin Studio. This is another good example of a set that 10 years ago I would have said absolutely not. But people dig the Golden Girls, and you got Blanche. Oh, Blanche is there doing her thing. It's cool, you know, and who doesn't love Betty White, right? I give this a high likelihood of becoming a set. Do I think it will sell well? I think it will sell as well as, say, The Office. Maybe a little worse, but The Office became a set, and I never thought The Office would become a set, so, you know, who knew? All right, moving on from Golden Girls, which is a high likelihood, we've got the Kinetic tin toy. And this is one of those classic 1950 styles robot toys that is in a beautiful orange and yellow motif. It looks like a classic toy you'd see in the days before television. You know, that when robots were going to rule the world, and this is what everybody thought it was going to look like. Well, 4 Eyes, guys, I'm giving you a medium. You Your robot, while traditional, because they didn't have the legs back then on some of those designs, he did a good job with this, or she did a good job with this. But it's a medium because I don't know if enough people are going to love it to want to buy it. All right. Old Man and the Sea by Ian Ha. Can I tell you, again, I really hope this is an example where we could move beyond the IPs with this and work out something with the Ernest Hemingway folks out there, because Old Man and the Sea is not only a fantastic book, it's a fantastic tale, and this is a fantastic looking set. Like, even if you're not an Old Man and the Sea fan, like, any fisherman would love seeing this set, because you not only get the old man in the boat, but you get this giant swordfish to go with it. And it's just really cool looking. I think it presents really well. I think it has excellent potential, and it's super colorful. It's got this wonderful plaque in front of it where it says, "But man is not made for defeat," he said. "A man can be destroyed, but not defeated." And then it comes with your Old Man in the Sea book, along with your little Ernest Hemingway figurine, minifig. So definitely a cool set. I'm going to give it a medium. I think it's got potential. I think the only thing holding it up are probably IPs. All right. Moving on to the Big Mouth Billy Bass. This set by Rhapsody absolutely is not going to become a set, and let me tell you why. Let's see if I can get to the mechanics of this set. The Big Mouth Billy Bass. If you grew up in the 90s, you had yourself a Big Mouth Billy Bass for sure. And it was fun, right? It was like, "Here's a little song I wrote." And it was lovely, and everybody loved their Big Mouth Billy Bass. But the back of it requires 1, 2, 3 motors. Do you know how much this set would cost at, only 1,500 pieces? 2,000 pieces and 3 motors? The Big Mouth Billy Bass is going to be a $300 Lego set. No one's going to pay $300 for this set. Like, it's just, people would pay $100 for this set, but Lego can't build this set for less than $250 or less than $300 with the amount of electronics that are in it. So it's not becoming a set. All right, moving on from there. Daft Punk Concert by Robotroc. Listen, I love me some Daft Punk. Can I tell you, the Tron Legacy soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. I love Daft Punk. I love that style of music. This set will never happen in a million years. It's just not going to. So this is not going to sell, no matter how cute it is, and no matter how much I love the Tron Legacy soundtrack. So zero chance. All right, moving on here. Appa the Sky Bison. It just makes me sad to kind of look at Appa the Sky Bison. If you don't know who Appa is, he's the giant sky bison from Avatar: The Last Airbender. And this is the kind of set that has been submitted many, many times because people absolutely love Avatar: The Last Airbender. Love it, me included. But Nickelodeon and the relationship with Lego right now, I don't think is very good, because when was the last time you saw a Ninja Turtles set out there, right? And so because of that, I just don't think it's going to have a chance, which is sad, because I think a re-release of not only like Appa as an idea set, but just the Avatar Last Airbender as a theme, I think could do really, really good. I wish it would come back for sure. Some of my wish listers right there, the 2 old Airbender sets. All right, moving on. The Mediterranean Restaurant by Bricky Brick. Bricky Brick. Not Ricky Rick. Hey, this is a really cool set. Here's what's holding back this set. It's very modular looking. Yeah, it looks like a modular building. It's fun. It's got a lot of little interesting little tidbits. There's a lady listening in, like the government's listening in at the basement of a Mediterranean restaurant. Don't ask me why. The problem with this set, it looks very modular. And we don't make modulars on Lego Ideas. It just doesn't happen. Like, people want modulars on Lego Ideas. Lego is not doing that. So I don't know why they keep submitting it. It's kind of super annoying, honestly, at this point. All right. And then speaking of more modulars, the Halloween house. Yeah, we just got a 3-in-1. This has got a slight chance, only slightly better than the Lego Mediterranean Cafe. And that's because it's Halloween. And that has been a really popular thing lately. It is trending. But again, we just got a Halloween house that is a 3-in-1. So because we have that, I don't think they're going to give us a bigger one. And it is not tied to anything. It is a generalized Halloween house. Now, if it went to a movie or something, I think it might have a little better odds of becoming a set. It's a great looking set. It looks really cool. I really like it. I would not be disappointed if it became a set, but I just don't think it's got what it has in it. All right, the Jellyfish collection. This is this kind of weird crap that Lego usually picks. I don't love this set, but I'm going to give it a medium because this is the kind of set that Lego seems to want to make more of. Yeah, it's Jellyfish. And they all look surprisingly accurate, which I like. Good job, Leona. Awesome. You did nice. I don't mean to dog on it. It just doesn't excite me. But, you know, we have Lego birds. We have Lego insects. Maybe Lego thinks we need Lego jellyfish. I don't know. All right, moving on from there, we have Disney's Phineas and Ferb. This is the evil lair. I can't ever say his name, but it's built by Inevitable Brick. This is that big, huge purple building that has all of the bad guy. What's his name? Dr. Evil Dorf and Schmittendorf. No chance. No chance whatsoever. The set is huge. I don't think this is the Phineas and Ferb set that breaks out everything. It's got to have 3,000 pieces in it for a big building that is basically a giant purple building. It's just not happening. So moving on from there. Peter Rabbit. This is interesting. Peter Rabbit is good because there's no IPs with this. You know, Beatrix Potter wrote Peter Rabbit. What's that, like 120, 130 years ago now? And so you don't have to worry about any licensing agreements. But I don't know if it has what it takes to become a Lego Idea set because it just looks like a UK garden, honestly. And there is a little rabbit house underneath, but just looking at it, why would I know this is Peter Rabbit? I wouldn't know this is Peter Rabbit. And it's not popular enough for, I think, people to go after it. So slight chance there. All right, Junkyard with a working magnet crane. Wow, that's a really fun thing that will never happen. You know what I miss? I miss M-Tron. I loved the 80s because Lego can make ideas. Lego can make sets with magnets in them. And if the kids swallowed the magnet, sorry, that was natural selection. I know that sounds bad, but they just don't make stuff with magnets anymore because if a kid swallows 2 magnets, that could mess them up. It could kill them. And so because of that hazard, you see how many hazards we've gotten on sets that just have a light brick in them? Do you imagine how many hazards would come with a set that has a working magnet in them? Lego just won't do it. I just don't think they would. I think that's a step too far for them, hence why we don't get the reoccurrence of M-Tron. So 0 chance for the Junkyard, even though it does look really cool. All right, moving on from there, we have the Muppets, Statler and Waldorf's Balcony Key Rack. This is a great example of a set where I love the concept, but the execution is just not working for me. So Howdy Ashley there is the designer. You can mount this against the wall, which is cool, and it would definitely stay against the wall. But here's the problem. In the front where you're putting your keys, I'm looking at those connections right there. You couldn't actually put real keys on these. Like you could put fake keys on there as a display set, but it kind of takes away from it, doesn't it? So because of that, I'm going to give this a slight to no. Hey, we're back to ET. Here's an example of one. I wish somehow we could intermix the first ET set with the second. Ooh, and because of that, I'm going to take ET down a notch to medium on that first one because there are 2 ET sets now. Who doesn't get picked? Because they're probably not going to pick them both. So I don't know. This is the classic ET set where it's set in the forest. You got ET and what's his name hanging out together. But then you also have that classic scene where they're riding in their bikes and they take off in front of the moon and they're flying. And it's the iconic ET scene for sure. And so it's captured really well in Lego. I don't know if it's as strong as the previous build. All right, moving on from there. Are you with me still? We're 45 minutes in. You're doing a good job. I am trying to go fast, believe it or not. There's just a lot of sets. Go-Go Power Rangers. Lego Megazord by Truman Bricks. Listen, Power Rangers could sell really, really well. It's almost shocking to me that Lego hasn't explored this avenue more. We've already got Voltron, which is one of my favorite Lego Ideas sets of all time. We have that new Fortnite set that's coming out that looks like a Voltron set. We have Optimus Prime. Well, let's give those young millennials the set of their dreams and give them the Power Rangers set. Granted, it does look a lot like Voltron from Wish.com. I feel like it needs to be fleshed out more, but I do think it could sell really well if they somehow worked out that IP. So Go-Go Power Rangers, that you're medium to high in my book. All right, moving on from there. The Holiday, Rose Hill Cottage by Martin Studio. Okay. I mean, my wife would be really excited about this. She loves The Holiday. She thinks it's a great movie. Is it popular enough, though, to become a Lego set? I don't think so. I don't think the movie was that popular, so I'm going to give this 0 chance. Great set, though. I would buy this set just because I think it would go really nice in the Lego Winter Village, not because it's The Holiday. All right, moving on from there, we got Coraline. Coraline, the Pink Palace by Zeus Bricks. Zeus Bricks, you made a really nice set. If you don't know Coraline, it is a children's novel written by Neil Gaiman that was adapted into an animated movie. And it's really cool, has a huge cult following, and it's a great looking set for sure. I really love it. It's got, 7 minifigs to it. It's solid as a set goes. I will tell you this, though. We've had a lot of Coraline sets that have been submitted in the past, and they just never get picked. Plus, I don't know if you know, but Neil Gaiman, he was one of my favorite authors of all time. The Sandman series, phenomenal. But he kind of got in trouble lately, and I don't know if Lego's going to want to associate themselves with Neil Gaiman and all the things he's been involved in. So we're just going to scroll past that then and say 0 to slight. All right, Brooklyn Nine-Nine by Ben Fank. Okay, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is another classic comedy series television show. It is not as popular as The Office, though. It's certainly not Friends. It is certainly not Seinfeld. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's just not iconic. So I'm going to give this a slight just because it's a huge set, but I know Lego likes doing these kind of sets, but I just don't know if Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the one they're going to settle on. I'd rather have Cheers, even though they wouldn't do a bar. All right, moving on from there, we got the Mini Moog Analog Synthesizer. Basically, it's a synthesizer, which is really cool. Very accurate set. It's the classic 1980s brown case keyboard synthesizer with all of the little knobs and doodads that went on with synthesizers. Say that word 5 times fast. The problem with it is, though, it's a synthesizer. Like, I don't think people are going to go after it, and I would be really surprised if Lego made this into a set. So I'm going to give it a slight. All right, moving on. The Book Nook Story Laboratory. I'm going to say this is 0 chance, and here's why for this one too. We have 3 book nooks. Like Lego is doing book nooks. We've got a Lord of the Rings book nook, we have a Sherlock Holmes book nook, and we have a Harry Potter book nook. We're not going to get a not like there's nothing associated with this book nook to make people want to buy it. And so it's just not going to happen. Plus, this book nook is not just a book nook. It's actually books as well on either side of it. And so I think that also hurts its case. I'm going to say 0 chance. Okay, finally getting to the set that I would love to have as a Lego idea set more than any other on this list, and that is the working cuckoo clock. It is incredible, but I tell you, I would give this probably slight, only because, again, this is another great example of it is going to cost Lego a heck of a lot of money to make this set. It's going to be a grand piano, essentially, type scenario is what I'm saying. And so if Lego makes this set, I would say it's going to cost $400. And I just don't think enough people are going to want to pay $400 for a working cuckoo clock. So 0 to slight, but in my heart, I want it to be very high. How I Met Your Mother. Okay. Here is How I Met Your Mother suffers from the same issue as Cheers. The iconic scenes from How I Met Your Mother take place in the bar, right? And so Lego's not going to do a bar. And so instead, these scenes are taking place in the home. And I just, again, don't think it's that popular of show to get that kind of play, especially with this kind of scene. So slight. All right, Art of Japan. I want to give this a medium, and let me tell you why. It's phenomenal, and it deserves to become a Lego idea set. His brick materials, it deserves it. But what I will tell you is, it could conflict with the Lego art. It really does look like it can conflict with Lego art, and I just don't know if Lego would go for that. Moving on, National Lampoons, one of 2, I believe. National Lampoons, as much as I love it, it'll never get picked because it is not a kid's movie. This is not Home Alone. Have you watched it lately? There's a lot of cussing, a lot of inappropriate jokes, a lot of toilet humor, and as much as I love it, Lego is never going to buy a set based on a movie where someone says, quote unquote, the pooper is full. So I'm sorry, Madam Thuzic. It's a cool looking set. I just don't think they're going to go for it. Plus, there's 2 of them, I believe. Grand Central Station. Moving on, Grand Central Station. Again, great example of a good looking set, but it is very modular, so I don't think they're going to go for it. However, because the Botanical Garden was selected, this moves from slight to medium. So good job, Mind the Brick. You did well. All right, here you go. Here's the other Griswold family Christmas house. This is the version of the house that not only still has the RV, but this is the house that is covered in lights and snow. Again, for what I just said earlier, they're not going to pick a set based on a movie that's not meant for kids. So it's just not going to happen, but I really would love it too. Oh man, I love that movie so much. The carpet's wet. Oh, I could say so many things, but I'm not going to because I don't want to get in trouble. Okay, moving on from there, Scooby-Doo, the Ravenwood Mansion. Listen, are you a Scooby-Doo fan? If you are, you're going to be really excited for this set built by Tobmac. First off, it's huge. I think people would really like having a new Mystery Machine van. I will say the one thing it has going against it is the build itself might actually be a little big. It's more of a facade style build. And I don't know if Scooby-Doo is still big enough, and it does actually compete with their old theme of Scooby-Doo. So I'm going to give this slight to medium, but based on those things, it is going to hold it back for sure. All right, Gilmore Girls. Of all of the series I've talked about so far, Gilmore Girls is probably the least popular. So for that reason alone, 0. It's just not going to get selected. But again, They look really cute, and I would love it just for the winter village. It doesn't need to be Gilmore Girls, but it is set as the wintry village. It's got the house, the blue house. It's got a gazebo, another house to the side of it. It's nice. The Stonewall National Monument in New York, USA by Feast Bricks. This is a great example. It is basically, you've got the street, you've got some facades of some buildings, and then you have the Stonewall Monument in the park in front with some trees. This is a good example of a set that I think is really exciting for some people, especially in the LGBTQ community. And I think it looks good, but I don't think Lego is going to take a chance on it. I don't think they're going to make this an official set. It just don't, a slight. I don't think enough people know about what this set represents. And I don't think Lego is going to take a chance on that. All right, Paddington Bear. Here you go, guys. Are you looking at it? Especially my listeners out there in the UK. Paddington Bear, baby. This is probably, I'm going to tell you right now, up there towards the top. Very high likelihood Paddington Bear. It is a good-looking set. He's sitting there eating his marmalade sandwich. He's sitting on his little suitcase since he's probably just gotten back from the deep wilds of Peru and probably a train station somewhere. So Paddington Bear, obviously very, very successful in the UK. Not so much in other places, but the movies obviously brought wider appeal to people in the States and around the world. This is definitely a finalist for sure in my book. All right, Pixar's Pizza Planet. Hey, we just got Luxo Jr. I saw what you did there, Luxo Jr. We've got some references to Pixar's Pizza Planet truck already. Do I think this will become a set? I don't. I think it's got zero to slight. But I do love the effort put into it. I think Vecchio did a nice job on it. I just don't think it will actually become an idea set. It's not in their lane. All right, moving on from there. Mary Poppins, Back to Cherry Lane by the Globe Guy. Okay, so Mary Poppins to me I think is a sleeper set for sure. If there's a set that I think that could surprise people, it might be this one. The original submission is definitely too big. It's currently 2 building facades within both in that brick and mortar style, and then a big blue building next to it with the sailor ship on top, right? And then you've not only got that, but you've got the street and the park in front of it with the kids flying their kites. They'll definitely decrease this by at least a third if this were to become an official set. But I'm going to give it medium to high. This is my sleeper pick. All right, moving on from there. Oh, man. The World of Studio Ghibli by Janarix. I love that people keep voting for Studio Ghibli sets, and I love them. Like Miyazaki films are some of my favorite animated films ever. Spirited Away, Porco Rosso, Princess Mononoke is one of my favorite animated features of all time. I love a Miyazaki film. But can I tell you, they just don't play well together. Lego and Studio Ghibli, I don't think Studio Ghibli would ever let them have the rights to make a set. And even though this set deserves it, it's absolutely gorgeous, 100%. I just don't think it will happen. I do love that we've got my neighbor Totoro on there, though, for sure. All right. And that is it. That is the last set, The World of Studio Ghibli, bringing out set number 57. And as I said, there are still 54 other sets that are really still under review for the third review period for LEGO 2024. And so we are going to get to know a lot of those results here come in the fall. But with that, I hope you enjoyed just looking at each of those with me, talking about each of these sets. I will tell you my big winners, the ones that I think are definitely could be finalists, are E.T., The Golden Girls, and Paddington Bear. Those are my top 3 sets for what I think definitely could get selected as a finalist as an actual actual Lego idea set. What I would love though is World of Studio Ghibli. World of Studio Ghibli, and there was another one. I love Griswold and the Working Cuckoo Clock. My heart wants those, but my brain says those aren't going to happen. So anyway, I appreciate you coming along on this one. I know definitely a super long episode. We had a lot to talk about, but definitely an interesting Wildcard Wednesday. If you want to check these out for yourself, all you got to do is just go to Lego Ideas, and you can actually see the full blog post where you can actually click on each of these sets and check them out. You can go through picture by picture, read a little bit about them, read a little bit about the designer, and decide for yourself what you think is best. If you haven't explored on Lego Ideas, you should definitely go on there anyway and just look at some of the amazing sets that people have designed. Because it really is incredible what an amazing creative community that there is out there that submit designs. So even if the set doesn't have a chance, I definitely applaud them for the work that they've put in on it for sure. So, but anyway, with that, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to be back on Monday with some more news and rumors. And so until Monday, I will say enjoy the rest of your week, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Oh,